Good evening to you folks. It's good to see you and it's good to be seen by you. And to quote Samwise Hamfast Gamgee, well, I'm back. Guys, welcome to the show. I, of course, am Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver, and I'm coming at you from a oft disclosed location. And I can tell you that at least presently, I am not being stalked and doxxed by Sniper Wolf. With that said, welcome. If you're new to the show, if you don't know what it is that we do on these occasions when I live stream, which is generally speaking 5 nights a week, we have a good time. We have a lot of fun. Hey, there's a guy, Imperial Ramblings, going to talk about you in a minute, my friend. We have a lot of stuff to get into tonight. We're going to do the Delver's Dungeon miniature diorama. We're going to do that. That's going to be a little unusual, guys. That's going to be a little unusual. And we're going to get into that. I'm going to talk a little bit about this weekend. I'm going to talk about the plans ahead this week, and we're going to have a lot of fun. But guys, I bring you 5 nights a week of live stream, tabletop RPG goodness, old school goodness. We have guests. We have game live streams. We have all kinds of fun, and it's all for you. Okay, so if you're just swinging by, if you're just stopping by the internet and you're wondering what all this madness is, and you haven't already, please click the subscribe button, click the bell icon for notifications, and if you're watching this later, leave a comment down below in the video and tell me what you like or what you didn't like, and I'll do my best to fix those things, okay? All right. James Seymour, Sweet Home Alabama. Somebody's been reading ahead. That's right. But let me tell you a little bit about my weekend, because a lot of you people out there in internet land had a hand in it. And I know because we're at 49, 47, 46, something like that in terms of subscribers on the show. And I try to be a little bit more on top of it. But before I go into that, I do want to thank our sponsor, of course, Hellebarde Games. Hellebarde makes the kind of adventures they'd like to play, whether it's for Castles and Crusades, 5th edition, or the OSR. Old School is in play at the table with Hellebarde Games, and you can find them on DriveThruRPG or on their website, hellebardegames.com. So this is a bit of an odyssey, and I'm going to give you guys the capsule view version of what has taken place since February of this year to now. About this time last year, I was not in a good place. I had a lot of stressors going on, and they come and they go. But it just seemed like I had fallen into a sinkhole, a sandy pit, conical pit in the ground, and every attempt to climb out was just dragging more sugar sand in on top of me. And even prior to that, now, look, I make no apologies for this, and if you don't already know this about me, I will tell you now, and if it upsets you because you're a fan of a different college football team, I understand. I think in the larger world, we can all enjoy what we enjoy and not express actual visceral dislike of each other. But since I was 5 years old, 6 years old, I have been a fan of the Alabama Crimson Tide football school. I did not attend the college. I'm a sidewalk fan. But my father got his degree from a satellite campus. So I guess maybe a little bit. But all the years I lived in Alabama as a kid, and all the times that Alabama has played in bowl games here in Orlando, I've never gotten to attend an Alabama football game. And I've mentioned that before, not just on this show, but in various Alabama sports forums. And so it was in one of those that I brought the subject up, and it was picked up on by someone, a very, very good person. You guys know him here from the chat. I'm not going to dox his name. Bluto. And so Bluto got it in his head to do something about that. And I guess the gears started turning and the ideas started snowballing, and he started reaching out to other internet Alabama fans that I was kind of in close orbit of. And I don't know how long things were planned, but they were. And when I would spam my Discord to various places, for reasons I still have yet to puzzle out, Bluto reached out to me and said, "Hey, do you mind if I hang around on your Discord? It seems like there's cool people there." And I said, sure. Because he's not a tabletop gamer, which is fine. But last fall, as I said, things started to just kind of cave in. And at some point during the conversation, I mentioned that GaryCon was something also that I had been to GaryCon once before. Thanks to Volcano God, who is also in the chat. And I said, but I won't get to go again. I probably, the way things are going. And Bluto said to me, "Hey, is it possible, because I'm not tech savvy," which is a lie, that the man flew F-15s. They are literally IBM x86 computers in the nose of jet engines and wings. But I digress. So he said to me, "I'm not tech savvy, so I don't know how to set up my own Discord. Can you give me a private Discord channel? And for reasons I'll explain, don't look in it." And I did that, and in the back of my head, thinking to myself, please don't Fed post, please don't Fed post, please don't Fed post, please don't Fed post. But he didn't. And I guess around late January, early February, when things pretty much hit a nadir for us regarding our now sold off Volkswagen Tiguan. It malfunctioned 3 times over the course of 3 months, and every malfunction set us back many thousands of dollars. He said, "Hey, when you travel, do you go by William or Bill?" "Go by William." "Okay. What's your date of birth?" And I told him. And he said, "If you were to get to go to GaryCon, do you think Mrs. the Dungeon Delver would like to go?" And at this point, I was like, so I said, "I don't know." My initial thought was, no, she wouldn't. And I went and asked her. She was like, "Yeah, sure, absolutely." So thank goodness I thought to ask her. So I came back and I asked, or I answered rather. And I was like, oh man, is he going to spend some air miles and try and get us up to GaryCon? No. Air miles, a hotel, money for badges. a GoFundMe had been set up. And you guys, many of you guys, contributed to that. And I am eternally grateful for all that you did. Even the people who were just cheering us on. You know, people say, oh, thoughts and prayers, what good's that going to do? Screw those people. If that's what you've got to give, then that's what you've got to give. So, Bluto and a whole lot of you guys threw in for that. What I didn't know. Let's jump back to that first point. In addition to all of that, March, 5 days in Lake Geneva, GaryCon fun. In addition to all of that, the same night, I found out that they were sending me to the capstone. And that's what I did this past weekend. I went to the University of Alabama Bryant-Denny Stadium, and I watched Alabama play Arkansas and win by the skin of their teeth. But they did win. And I got to meet up with 3 of you guys. I got to meet I got to meet Bo Ganora, who is in the credits as sound engineer. He's responsible for the sound being the quality it is. I got to meet one of my former co-hosts. Bo was one of my co-hosts also when we made a little attempt at a sports talk show. And then I met Bluto was there too. And his son. One of his sons. And I had an absolute blast. It was a lot of fun. The airport wasn't fun. I'll tell you guys the airport story, getting from Orlando to Atlanta some other time. Maybe just like a ramble show one night, because I'm rambling enough now. But Bluto's idea and everybody's effort into this, regardless of what your effort was, just 1,000 blessings to each and every one of you. I have a large karmic, spiritual payback to make. Not an amend, but a right balancing of the books. And I will do that. I will strive to do that every day, because Bluto is a wonderful guy. All of you folks are wonderful people. And I shall strive to do that. I will make it my mission that if I can lift someone up in whatever way I can, I will undertake that. And I will do it. All I've got anymore these days, as far as stuff that I can do and do really well, other than write, is play classic D&D. And I'll just try it. I'll just try that avenue. So, with that said, that was my weekend. Flew out Friday afternoon. Got to Birmingham because there's no international airport in Tuscaloosa. Got to Birmingham at 9:00 local time, and was up by 5 Saturday morning to meet Big John. We rode down to Tuscaloosa, walked around, visited the Bryant-Denny Museum, went to the game, cheered on the Tide, watched a partial eclipse through another fan's eclipse-safe viewing glasses, and that was awesome. And then Bo and myself and Bluto had a pizza dinner, and Then I crashed. I got up Sunday morning at 4, meant to be 5:30, but my stomach had other plans. And I got to the airport and then did the 9-hour journey home. There was an incredibly long layover. Okay, I know some people have laid over for like 2 to 3 days because of weather and stuff. For me, it was the first like super duper long layover. So we laid over for like 5 hours, 6 hours in Atlanta, and then finally home last night. So there it was, guys. There it was. And I thank you all. I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. You guys ready to look at the dungeon diorama? What it is this week? Because there's a story with this weekend that goes along with it. I get one yes, and I'll show it to you. Is there anybody out there? Hello? Is this thing on? Have I been talking for 15 minutes with no audio? Or is it just lag? All right. Damien and we. They tied for it. Okay, so it's not over here, although there is something over there that pertains to it. Right here at the tip of my finger. This is tonight's Dungeon Diorama. Now, as I said on Twitter, I didn't, Robert, as far as I know. I feel fine. If that looks a little odd, like why is there a remote? Why is that vertically photographed, et cetera, et cetera. As I said on Twitter when I posted this picture, what kind of a gamer would I be if I went somewhere that sold miniatures and didn't buy miniatures? Well, I wouldn't be a very good gamer. So at the Paul Bear Bryant Museum on the University of Alabama campus in the gift shop, they had this little container full of these guys. They're good luck elephants. And I snagged a good amount of them, and I gave one each to Big John, to Boganora, and of course to Bluto. And then I kept the rest for myself. And when I brought them home, my daughters each claimed a gray one and a red one. So I have one. I have one little Al the Elephant Alabama mascot left. And you guys can tell me, should I tart him up a little bit? Should I do like a flocked base, maybe with some football yard markings on it, and do that? Let me know if you guys want to see that. Now, if I understood Boganora correctly, those are like made from recycled plastics from stuff in the stadium that they've had to replace over the years, which is super cool. So I've got a little piece of the stadium there, and I think that's wonderful. And so that's pretty cool. Blood Bowl time. I wish these were 50 cents a piece, which as miniatures go is a pretty good price, but I suppose I could have gotten enough for an entire squad. But no, I got and so I had the 5 that you see in the picture in my pocket. And something I'm going to show you guys in a few minutes, or one of the things that I'm going to show you guys in a few minutes. I had he needs A on his sides. Okay, I can do that. See? Needs elephant armor, maybe a saddle for a smaller toy. These guys are tiny. I don't know if the camera is going to really convey how tiny they are. Oh, I guess I'll have to zip back. Let's remove that. So these are not 28 millimeter. These are like 10 millimeter at best. So I think the A's on his flank is probably about the best I can do for Al there. Evening, Lux. So my sound guy, Boganora, brought me like audio equipment. He brought me a new mic. But unfortunately, the box that the new mic was in would not, Bo, take it as gospel, it would not have fit. It would not have fit. But back to the elephants. So I get to the Birmingham airport at like, I don't know, 6, something like that. And screen through is me. Right? It's me. There were a few other people, but it's like me and 3 other people that had been ahead of me and 1 person behind me, a couple of people. Anyway, it was very quiet. So I put my suitcase up there and I, belt off, phone out, phone charger, headphones, power brick, my reading glasses. Yes, I got new reading glasses. At the museum. So I won't be squinting at and misreading RPG rule books anymore. I got some new reading glasses to replace the ones that Squirrel Hermit got for me, and I have misplaced. I expect, because I have these now, that I will find his in a matter of days. But anyway, so all this crap goes into a plastic bin, and that gets rolled down. And I come through and, hands over my head, waiting for the scan and et cetera, et cetera. And as I'm coming out, because that scan is, it's radar, whatever, 3D workup. As I'm coming out, the guy pulls me aside. He's not like, he's like, you got anything on you, sir? What you got in your pocket over here, sir? And as he's doing this, I can see out of the corner of my eye the guy scanning my stuff. I had a video card, 4 sticks of RAM, and a new shock mount for my microphone that Bo also gave me in my suitcase. The guy is taking the 3D model that has been scanned of my luggage and is flipping it around, looking at it. I figure I'm going to get called over to explain what I've got, and I might lose some of it. They might be like, this isn't going on the plane. Sorry, it's just not this electronic stuff. Nope. Just gets pushed right down. I get rousted because I've got a pocket full of elephants. So I just reach in my pocket and I hold them out. And I said, oh, elephants, would you like one? And he's like, he just kind of chuckles and says, oh, no, that's all right, man. So, I put them in my pocket and go on about my business. So, yes, I got stopped for the Bama elephants in my pocket. But I made it home in one piece. And those are today's miniature scene there. I lined them up, took a picture, tweeted it, and then I said, hey, I got to show these to the guys. And I'm glad that I kept that. Like, I decided to use this picture so you could see how many I had. And now I just have the one. So, what's that D20 in your pocket? I didn't have any gaming dice. And I do. Oh, speaking of gaming, there was a fellow, who was at the game, and I know him from an Alabama sports Discord, who was really, he was like, oh, we got to get together. You can run a game for us. I really wanted to, dude. There was just no time. I got in, by the time I got settled down in my hotel, it was like 10 o'clock. And I was just, cause I knew I had to be up early in the morning because my ride to the game, Big John, was going to be there early, and I wanted to have a full night's sleep. Exactly, doctor. So, I, and I was up at 5, and then it was just all at the game. And by the time we got back to the hotel, had dinner, and then up to my room, I was like, I have got a lot of electronics with me. I don't know what security is going to be like in this place. Sometimes the regional airports can be rough. Like worse than the big city. The big city ones are just like, boop, go, So I don't know what it's going to be like. So I apologize. I am sorry. I have sent you a message on Discord. I hope you see it and will get back to me and let me run a game virtually for you and your significant other. So, was I able to tailgate? We did not. So the tailgating scene at Bryant-Denny and apparently at a lot of colleges, it's very different. It's more like get there, take all your crap in a golf tent to a park and set up there. It's not just like, hey, drop the tailgate and let's have, some roasted weenies and some beers and chips and, throw football around anymore. It's a very staid kind of affair. Very formalized, like this is the Lions Club, this is the ladies auxiliary for this charity, this is with their own roped off designated sections. So no, we didn't tailgate, unfortunately. Evening, Yang Yanzao, good to see you, my friend. So that was it, and it was the other end of a journey that began back in February with an outpouring of generosity that still blows me away. Yeah, Luther, I could turn this into a sports talk about that game, but I'm not gonna. Suffice to say, I think you and I are probably on the same sheet of music with regard to that. But roll tide to you. Yeah, there were some people with some spreads set up. The Tavern and Inn is at Crystal Cast. No, it is not. It is Miniature Building Authority. Unfortunately, this is no longer produced by them. But that, I think my wife picked that up for $99 back in like 2003 or 2004. What is special about the Commodore C65? The C65 from Commodore was an advanced Commodore 64 that ran at 8 megahertz, could support up to 3 megabytes of RAM, but would come standard with 256K, a built-in 3.5-inch floppy, and more and better graphics modes and sound modes, and a built-in hardware Commodore 64 emulator. Commodore built about 1,000 of them that would be best considered prototypes, and they are incredibly rare, and if you find one in good condition, it'll set you back about $10,000. All the ROMs have been dumped. You can emulate one if you really want to see. No software other than a crude graphical OS for it was released. Essentially, it would have been an 8/16-bit computer, exactly like the Apple IIgs. So that is what the deal. Yeah, we've used it in games before, Volcano. When you would come over here in game, we've used it before. I had a 128 for about a year before I got my Amiga. The 128 was really neat, except I only ever ran Commodore 64 software on it in 64 mode. And I never had a monitor that would do 80 columns proper. So I never really got to experience any of the fun of it. So, anyway. Oh, so things that were in the suitcase. So we'll do a little mail call-y kind of stuff, but it's really more tech stuff. I have one of the things that Bo Ganora brought me, and I'm not going to lean over the counter to get, that I really thank him for from the bottom of my heart. I haven't tested it out yet, but I intend to, was an 8 gigabyte GeForce GTX is it a 1070 or a 1080? I'll have to check the serial number. But basically, it's just before GeForce, before NVIDIA started releasing like their ray tracing capable cards. But it's still pretty state of the art today. It is quite a workhorse of a video card, and I'm excited to have it. I'll employ it some way in the show today. I mentioned that I had 32 gigs of memory that he gave me. Those will be going into the studio PC, so we'll keep performance up there. I haven't gotten anything yet, Jack. I haven't gotten anything yet. Yes, there were 80 column mods you could do on the C64, both software and hardware. But I got this cool doohickey that I'm looking forward to trying out. This is a shock mount. This is a ring shock mount that I will be mounting this microphone in. So it'll be a little bit lower, which I'll figure something out with the boom arm. But basically, it'll hopefully make it a little bit. Sound a little bit better when I move it around. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to playing with this, and I will do all the smart things. I will do all this. It does look like a spaceship from Interstellar, doesn't it? I will do all the smart things and try this out this weekend. Probably on Sunday, I will futz around with the PC. I'm not going to mess around with it during the middle of a production week. And speaking of production weeks, folks, what a week we have. What a week we have ahead of you. Tomorrow night, we are playing live stream for you, first edition Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. I won Dungeons & Dragons, and it was advanced. And hopefully you guys will too. We will be playing first edition AD&D tomorrow night with our killer crew of adventurers ready once again to tackle B2, Keep on the Borderlands. So we will be doing that tomorrow night. Wednesday night, we got to drive on the other side of the road because Kyle will be here from Australia, live from down under. Kyle will be here, and we will be playing his game of adventure and combat, Conflict. We will be doing that tomorrow night. But Thursday night, we have a very, very special guest. Mr. Bob Antone will be here on the stream, and I'm very excited about that. He will be here, and we're going to talk about cryptids. I'm going to throw some D&D monsters at him, and we're going to look at cryptid history and that sort of thing. Gary was a big believer in cryptid stuff. So we're going to talk to Bob about Bigfoot, about cryptids, about... What's that? Oh, you don't know who Bob Antone is? Oh, well, I have been remiss. Bob Antone is the brilliant musician and member of Tinkham Road who is responsible for this show's excellent outro tune, Owlbear. Now, this particular recording of Owlbear that Bob has done anew features almost all the members of Tinkham Road. So there's a new one. So not only will Bob be here, we will be playing that new rendition of Owlbear, that new version of Owlbear for you guys on the show. That's right. Now, you might wonder, you might be asking, maybe you're thinking, but Bill, are you changing the closing credits version of Owlbear? And the answer is no, we will be keeping it. This new version is longer, not more lyrics, musically longer, slightly different tempo, but I think you guys are going to enjoy it. I think you guys are going to love it. And then on Friday night is episode 3 of Shocktober's Call of Cthulhu mini campaign. This episode is titled A Death in the Family, so you don't want to miss it. Be there and be scared for Call of Cthulhu on Friday. And then Monday, we start the whole thing over again. So I hope you guys are excited about that. I'm looking forward to it. I'm just ecstatic. Did Gary truly believe any of that, or was he just interested? Kabuki, I got it. I got the impression from Heidi Gygax that yes, Gary did believe in some of that. So it'll be kind of interesting to talk to Bob Antone about that. Connect, that would be telling. That would be telling, and I'm not telling. But if you guys are wondering, yeah, I heard about Suzanne Summers. Oh, what a shame. A beatbox version of Albert. No, I don't think I'm going to be doing that, Robert. And Piper Laurie, yeah. But Doomsword, first of all, Doomsword is still in the game. I'll be creating a new character and introducing him in. So, I mean, that is my loyal cast. So we'll be bringing someone in. Think of it like an old-timey radio play. And we may have to do the same for Kennick. Who knows? Well, I mean, I know. And I'm not telling. But anyway, of course, everybody goes with, Chrissy from Three's Company is their favorite Suzanne Summers role. Not for me. Not for me. It's for the T-Bird Girl in American Graffiti, which is one of my favorite movies. Suzanne Summers is the T-Bird Girl. And poor Richard Dreyfuss chasing her all over Modesto. And then he sees her car driving down the highway, and then he just kind of smiles that smile. Oh, that's interesting, Road March. The standard array. Yeah, okay, so we can talk D&D a little bit. No, the methods laid out in the Dungeon Master's Guide are the methods I go with. I remember I posted something like my preferred method as a character and as a DM is 4d6. Discard lowest, arrange to taste. You hear that faint shrill screaming? That's Kyle in Australia. Anyway. But 4d6, discard lowest, arrange to taste. And I remember posting this up on Facebook, and someone who doesn't like follow me on Facebook was suddenly like in my grill, not on Facebook, on Twitter, was suddenly in my grill about the fact that I did this, and he's like, so you effectively give everyone a +1. And I was like, no, I don't give everyone a +1. I use and I cut and pasted out of the Dungeon Master Guide PDF and said, this is what I do. I don't know where you're coming at me with this +1. And anyway, and he starts throwing math at me. And going on about why standard array is better. You would rather give everyone a +1? How is that balanced? How is that old school? Standard array. I presume he talked like that. And I mean, look, not everything, and God rest his soul. I had a friend of mine. I used to talk about, this is a favorite whipping boy of mine, but we'd talk about Twilight 2000. And a team like Oh, how cool would it be? And you'd have an Abrams tank and maybe a Hemet following you. You know, it'd be like a couple of gypsy wagons, and you kind of move place to place and try to zigzag across post-nuke Europe to get someplace safe back, behind the lines, such as they still existed, and so on. And he said, well, I already did the numbers. I already ran the numbers. It would require this much work, this many days, this many hours to make this much fuel, to blah, 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 blah. Doesn't make any sense, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, Scott, is it fun? Would it be cool? I don't care how you've done the percentages on why it's more efficient to play a, something this way than the other way. And that's what just would get up my backside about third edition and Pathfinder and 3.5. I don't know about Pathfinder 2.0. I don't care. But it's like, oh, well, your build's not optimal. Well, what do you mean? Well, you took this feat, not that feat. If you take this feat, you can't go to the other feat. But if you take that feat, then you can go to this feat, and then you build, and you've got, you can do all this stuff, and your build is better. Isn't the build being better the best? And I'm like, hey, is it fun? Is it fun? And I don't, coming at me and telling me that at the extreme end, if we build a Tipler cylinder that is also functions as a dragon bone and compute out that in 50 billion years, the point buy array is more fair or balanced than 4x6 discards, I don't care. And you shouldn't either. You shouldn't either. Regardless of which way you're going. And it was just, it literally is just how you want to play your character. I rolled up a fighter that's strength 9, int 17. Yeah, but I mean, really, you should put the 17 in strength. I like the idea of a Poindexter out there who outthinks the enemy in addition to outstabbing them. Cool. That, as a dungeon master, that should be your response. Cool. So, how do my Tuesday players create replacement characters? I tell them to do 4d6. We have a character generator on the Discord. We have a couple of them, actually, that will, they internally, I've seen the guts, I've seen the code, because I specifically asked for them to be coded this way, where it does its rangen and generates 4 numbers between 1 and 6 and drops the lowest. I mean, you might never know it except for its output, but it will absolutely 4d6 discard lowest. 17 index, best stat in D&D. Well, there you go. I mean, Damien says, screw my build being optimal. I'm having fun in Dark Heresy with my swordsman, diplomat, salesman, inquisition ethic. There you go. 17 int, the DM should give your fighter a bonus performing battle formations with your hirelings and henchmen. Hey, if the DM wants to roll with that, that's cool. Here's an interesting bit of serendipity. There's someone out there in the audience with the handle Howard Hughes. I'm assuming you're not the real Howard Hughes. My apologies from the bottom of my heart if you're actually the real Howard Hughes, but Lux, that's an interesting point of view, and I want to get back to that. I'm gonna come back to that, Lux, in just a minute. But no, we were talking about American Graffiti earlier, and there's a movie called Melvin and Howard about a guy who claims to have picked Howard Hughes up hitchhiking outside Vegas, and that Hughes wrote him into a will. And for years, he tried to convince people that that this was Howard Hughes's will, and of course, it probably wasn't. But Paul Le Mat played the Melvin of the title, Melvin and Howard. Paul Le Mat played, I forget his character's name, but he was one of the key characters in American Graffiti. He had a drag race with Harrison Ford's character, Bob Falfa, at the end of the film. So there's a little bit of serendipity. So Lux brings up an important point here. I never had anyone push me to optimize in 3.5. That sounds like a player issue or maybe a WotC issue if they encouraged it, but I don't think it sounds like a system issue. Okay, first of all, that's awesome. That's great. I played a lot of D20 in the early 2000s because it was what people were playing and it's what my group at the time wanted to play. So I did play a lot of 2000. We had a couple of players that really pushed character optimization. And it's from there that my dislike of it sprang. And as I would talk to more intense players of Pathfinder and 3.5 in discussion vacuums, I think a lot of players pushed it hard to do the whole, no, your character, you're going to screw up our game if your character is an optimized level. But I think it happened. It happened in vacuums and web forms, but I did see it at tables sometimes. I think it's one of those things that people just picked up and ran with. So I guess what I'm saying, Lux, is I'm not calling you out. Yeah, Reddit, forums, web forums, or early PHP BBB forums. 3.6 run what you roll. You can do that. You can do that. What is this 5e of which I speak? It was all a bad dream. So when I was trying to gin up a thumbnail tonight, just for I should have grabbed this image. I really should have. Just for shits and giggles, I should have I should have had it to show you guys. I asked the image generator I was using. I said, first edition advanced Dungeons and Dragons only. And it generated a book cover that looked like a 5e book cover. Fonts, everything. But at the top, in the 5e font work, the artwork and everything, it looked like a 5e book. But at the top, it said Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. And it misspelled dungeons because it's an AI and, that's just Math Finder. Yeah, that's one. But anyway. Yeah, I think you kind of hit on something, Lux, and I'm absolutely, I'm not going to go down the whole, 3.5 is World of Warcraft. I think there's an argument to be made that Wizards bought heavily into Momorpaga mindset with the design of 4th edition. And I think they're going to lean harder into it with what's coming next. Volcano God, those folks, and I'm glad you asked me that, Volcano God. I'm glad you asked me that. Those are our YouTube members. If you YouTube membership, I wish I could figure out a way, because there are some folks from Patreon who come on, and I can't do that. I can't set their account to do that. But those are our YouTube memberships, and if you want to support the show, if you want to, not necessarily you, okay, but the broader you, the royal you, if you'd like to support the show on Patreon for as little as $1 a month or $1.99 a month with YouTube memberships, I'm sorry, I can't set it any lower, to support the show month to month, then you can do that. There's the Patreon link down there, or you can click on the YouTube link over here, or maybe it's over here, but it's down there somewhere for you to click on. Again, for as little as $1.99 a month here, or $1 on Patreon. At the $10 level, at the $10 backer level, whether it is Patreon or YouTube memberships, every month you will get a short first edition advanced Dungeons and Dragons module written by me. October's is coming up, and it is the season of the witch. So we will be giving out a horror themed spooky AD&D module for the Halloween season, and that's coming if not this week, then next. So a little trick or treat for you guys if you'd like to do that. I'll look into it. I will look into it. But anyway, season Miller. Hey now. I was so heartbroken to hear about James Seymour's recent passing, which is banned by WotC and Druid and Shaman. Well, I don't kowtow to Wizards of the Coast, and I don't follow what they would like me to do, so I'm not worried about that. I may include Druids and Shaman also. In fact, I'm going to now. Now I'm going to do it. Thank you for the idea, L. And I mean that sincerely. I do. Thank you very much. This module will include Shaman, Druids, and Witches. My own witch class that I myself have built up with resources. Oh, Howard, thank you so much. Thank you so very, very much, Howard. Witch doctors. I might throw some witch doctors in there. Witch doctors, those doctors. Maybe one of each. The green name is Star Jealousy. It's going to be just Starbelly Sneeches as far as the eye can see on the stream. But thank you. Thank you, Howard. By the way, did everybody get the witch? Did I share with you guys the link to the witch class? Did I share that with you guys? And would you like me to share it if I didn't? Because if you did, I'll do it right now. I'll put the link up on the screen where y'all can see it. It's just a Google Drive link. It's nothing special. I just got to scroll down through my Twitter and find it because I don't have it handy here. I shared it on Twitter, yes, but some who are here might not follow me on Twitter. Let me just zip down through here. So there you go. That is the link to the witch, and it is in the chat. Nearly an hour late, but I finally made it to a live stream. Hello, Bob. So if you guys want to grab a copy of that, I have had some help. There's a fellow over on YouTube who has put together a AD&D book style layout of this, and I am kind of playing around with that a little bit. So once I have the updated one, you guys will be will be able to use it. Is the witch class a valid class for Tuesday games? Yes, it is. It'll be a good play test for it. Thank you, Bob. I wish there was some way statistically I could see how many times it's been downloaded, but Google Docs doesn't let me do that. Or if it does, if somebody knows how to do that, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see tracking. You're not, Volcano. Well, if you became a patron, then you're not. If you became a YouTube member, the only thing that I don't like in my AD&D games are assassins and evil alignments in general. I just they can be a super. I have no moral opposition to it. Okay, I'm not like, let's go 2E standards and practices. I'm just not a good enough DM to balance a good party with an evil character. I mean, if I was going to run a good game where everybody was morally gray, and somebody was like, yeah, I want to run a lawful evil assassin, I'd do it. I don't rule out the assassin ever. Or I don't rule out the assassin always. So GitHub tracks, interesting. Does the witch have... no, the witch does not multi-class. They single class only. I mean, I suppose I should go back and address that. Maybe Doomsword, maybe put that in there. I mean... I don't know if I'd allow them to dual class multi... I just see like a fighter witch. I just don't know. Witch thief, witch assassin, witch monk. No, I kind of think of them as a singular class. I have seen what you're talking about, Howard. I have seen what you're talking about. Howard, in case you missed that, said, I saw a creator who had a BX rules printed in a hardback book and it looked great. Yes, I have seen it. And it is apparently something someone like got done at Lulu for themselves and selectively shared out but it's been so long, I don't know who did that. I could ask over on Twitter. Which magic user cleric? No. I almost think a witch druid would be superfluous. And there's a few tweaks I do need to make. So I mentioned this before, and again, this is not a call out because I don't do that. But someone had said something about someone asked me well, why don't you do a white witch? And I was like, well, I don't need to. I mean, if witches can be of any alignment, lawful good to neutral evil. I guess I should say neutral good to neutral evil. But you can be anywhere on the alignment pie chart. And a coven of lawful good witches fighting for the common weal, doing, acts of great kindness, would by definition be white. And this fellow was quite insistent. No, that's not what a white witch would be. They would be their own separate class with their own separate thing. And my response to that is, and I don't want to sound like an a-hole, but do it yourself. If what I've got here doesn't work for you, then build on this and do it yourself. I mean, I can't make money with this. It's not, I can't sell this to you. First of all, it's built on Bill Mulhausen and Len Kafka's and 4 other authors going all the way back to The Dragon issue 5. And there may even be some stuff in the strategic review. Bill, are NPC names for up for $100 donations still? Sure. If you want to donate $100 to the show, I'll name an NPC as long as it is clean. As long as it is clean, I'm not going to let you have an orc chieftain named, gaping crude word for a body part. There are no illusionists in yet. Your thoughts on witches was the limited wish ability is maybe 2 years instead of 1 year. One of the things that I did at the end, and maybe one night I can talk. Sir Michael the Huntsman, maybe. But I removed high secret order abilities. The high secret order, basically, like every level starting at, I think, 11th, you gain a spell. And I looked at the spells and, well, one, I'm lazy. That was a lot more writing. And 2, I just thought with the abilities at almost every level, plus the power levels of some of these spells, I just felt like it was getting too nope, no barbarians in my game. I don't like the barbarian class. I mean, I might cook up my own kind of barbarian, but that's for another discussion. But yeah, I was looking at the high secret order spells and I was like, I don't. Coupled with everything else, I just thought it was too much of a good thing. I'm going to have a salad. Awesome. I'm going to have a salad with ranch dressing. Cool. I'm going to have a salad with ranch dressing and bacon. Great. I'm going to have a salad with ranch dressing, bacon, and chicken. Cool. I'm going to have a salad with ranch dressing, bacon, chicken, and cheese. Okay. I'm going to have a salad with ranch dressing, bacon, cheese, chicken, and let's put some some taco meat on it. Hold up. But anyway, Lord Rolling Tide, I would absolutely accept that. I would accept Lord Rolling Tide if you wanted to super $100 to have a Lord Rolling Tide in the game. Local, this Friday, we are playing Call of Cthulhu. We are doing Call of Cthulhu for 2 more sessions. Back first Friday in November, we will return to Gamma World. No, James. Yeah, don't forget the peanut butter. L, you get it. You under my brother. Yeah, I just felt like I was getting too much of a good thing. Assassins are the radishes of the D&D salad. I'm gonna have to remember that. One thing that I did do that I liked that I didn't see anyone else do, and I was quite proud of this. And I'm going to read this from the book. And you guys can tell me what you think if you haven't downloaded the PDF already. We're starting to go a little long. I think we can go for a little bit longer. So I'd have to eat it. I started talking about salad and my stomach was growling. It occurred to me I had pizza rolls at like 11 today. I might, Damien. I might. When a player has adequate experience points to gain a level as a witch, it is not merely enough to donate gold to a witch's coven and meet a higher level witch to train and gain a level. A witch must perform some duty, act, or ritual that best exemplifies their standing in the coven based on their alignment. The coven will observe or at least require proof of this action before they grant the prospective candidate the new level. For example, a lawful good witch must perform an act that kindly benefits the commonweal of all, be it residents of a village, a borough in a city, or even a lone family, but it must be a selfless act that maintains good and order. Conversely, an evil witch would have to unalive an innocent, offer its Kool-Aid as a sacrifice, defile a good church, and the like. The specifics of each action for each alignment are left to the dungeon master, and they may find ample opportunity for role play as a witch character seeks to gain a higher level in his or her coven. So I liked that. I liked that idea. I thought it was rather inspired of me, this idea of saying that you're, something coming up with, because you could just like, that whole, Mary or Mike, their witch character is off training. What do you guys want to do? Well, we're going to wait in the village, I guess. Now we could make it a whole mini adventure just based around that. So you could have a whole lot of fun with just that. And again, hey, if you as a dungeon master, if you see that and you're like, that's dumb, Bill, I'm not going to cry in my soup. No, sorry, and it's YouTube. Okay, I got to be careful. Road March says, so let me get this straight. For $100, I could get my real play 8-level barbarian in one ability. The name, if appropriate. The name, if appropriate. You could say, my barbarian's name is this. And when and where appropriate, I would have a barbarian named that. Just so we're clear, Road March. Just so we're clear. I thought it was 30 minutes. I thought the watershed was 30 minutes. I hear differing things from differing people. I don't know. I had my stream with Tracy Lesh flagged, and I had to go in and request a review, and then auto said, okay, you can make money on this. I had my stream with Heidi Gygax and Eric Garland flagged. And I had to request. And they said, okay, you can make money with it. Sir Osis of Doliver. I like that. Hey, Tonka Todd. It's good to see you, my friend. How are you? Well, I hope. Hope you're doing well. Train markers are from a game that shall not be named. Okay. Crunchy Slod. I got that, Jack. The vice president of marketing is hiding in my closet. Blam! Was hiding in my closet. But anyhow, so yeah, there it is. If you guys want to download it, and again, mod it, mutilate it. Maybe you're of the mindset that witches need to be just. Bull does not like that game for the opportunity they wasted. Oh, yeah. You know, maybe you want to chop and channel this thing and make it your own. Just do your own thing. Sir Wilford of Brimley. Well, just gonna pull off to the side for a minute so I can turn around and look in the tour bus at the guy we just picked up and say, Todd, you guys very nearly skunked us. 9 minutes of the game left, and I was in the stands. I wasn't doing a failure Cobra. I was the surrender Cobra. But I was... Okay, let's just remember the friendship, the pageantry of being here. You got to see a B2 overfly. But when he took that final knee, when our quarterback took the knee with the last minute ticking off the clock and having no way to stop it, we were all kind of having a laugh. And I said aloud, I'm so glad they won. This is the first time I have ever been to a Bama game in person. And if we lost, I would have known that I cursed to the team. And the gentleman that was sitting next to me said, well, I'm glad we won too. You can come back next week. If we had lost, I would say kindly to you, please don't. So we had a good laugh about that. Oh, Todd. No, I understand. All right, but that's enough sports. So back to things. So we're going to go for another 15 minutes, and then we're going to wrap up. Do you guys have any questions? I always like legitimate D&D questions that you would like to have an answer to, things that you don't know. And for those of you wondering, are we going to return ever to how to DM, how to Dungeon Master First Edition AD&D? Yes. It's just been an exceptionally busy few weeks. Next week, I don't have a guest lined up for Thursday, I believe. So better bring your notebooks. Get ready to take some notes. You are not, Road March. You are not. Oh, James, you're a Cincy fan? Volcano God is too. Thank you, Vaughn. What is my personal favorite 1E weapon? You know, why wouldn't? That L. You know what? L has set the price. We're going to talk about experience points and the awarding thereof for our next How to DM First Edition AD&D lesson. L, thank you very much. You can feel free to comment in the community about that to keep me reminded. My favorite 1E weapon. See, James, might be a mail call Thursday. Okay. My gut response is to go with the longsword. But the longsword, that's like saying, my favorite food is a Subway sub. My biggest turn on is a pretty blonde girl. It's just so pedestrian. Bastard sword is a good choice. One-handed or two-handed weapon. Pole arms have a lot of utility. But I'm going to say the bastard sword. Yeah, bastard sword. Pole arms, there is nothing wrong with a good stout pole arm, Lux. Well, you get XP for magic items and for monster slaying too, L. But we're going to talk about that. We're going to be talking about that. The Volge. What's not to love about that name? Volge. Sounds like something Dracula would say before he drives it through you. The Volge. Yep. You get the one-handed or two-handed options. Although, honestly, it's doing the same damage. And it's like a minimum damage of 2. So, honestly, there's no point in not using a bastard sword over a longsword, except maybe for money. Or, if you have a +1 longsword or plus additional amounts longsword. But it is a good idea, and we are gonna talk about it, son. Volge. Right, it is Volge. Yeah, great sword. When you like the idea of a pole arm, but you're really married to the concept of a sword. I want to hit that guy in the front of the third rank that I'm facing. Best weapon in advanced Dungeons and Dragons is of course, a disintegration rifle. Which, if you guys know what the disintegration rifle is from Expedition to the Barrier Peaks, we've done a deep dive on it. It's like this. It's like a BFG 9000 level weapon, and it's just this frame, this rack that mounts up on the wearer's body, and they fire it by pushing buttons on the shoulder strap. It's the weirdest thing in the world, and it comes out of like this radar dish type thing over here. It is the strangest looking thing. Strangest looking thing. What is the most unusual piece of equipment I have seen a player take? Good question. The most unusual piece of equipment I have seen a player take is let me think. Now let's talk about standard equipment, because players can be squirrely and players can come up with all kinds of wacky stuff. Do they sell baling wire, honey, and wax figurines of dwarves no taller than this at this store? Why? But I would say probably bags of flour. I had one player attempt a silo explosion kind of thing. Like we're gonna fill the room with flour dust and throw a torch into it, to have a mechanical fireball. But I've had other players use them to scatter on the floor to detect intruders, invisible intruders, or like a slithering tracker, anything gelatinous. So I would say bag of flour. Does the orc chief daughter count as a that's hell. I taught a kid to play D&D back in '83. He came at me with the next morning with a dude named Michael Night Slasher drawn and everything. That's fun, Doomsword. The best armor is power armor, also from Expedition, right up to the point where it runs out of charge, which I don't think the power armor uses power discs. I think you have to plug it into the ship. But when players are operating at that level, they can do nasty stuff with wishes. I wish that this armor always had power. You know. Most unusual equipment that proved useful. Oh, yeah. Okay. This is kind of unusual. This is sort of unusual. I had a character buy extra clothes. Yeah, they were going through a mountainous region, and I was keeping track of cold, that sort of thing. And he was like, all those extra clothes I bought? Yeah, I'm going to share them with the party. Oh, very good. Is power I've shared pictures of what I like my Gamma World power armor to look like, and it is based just because the cool factor. It's based on the designs of Kao Yokoyama, who is a Japanese artist who does some absolutely amazing power armor. No, it's not anime. You guys out there who hate all things Japanese, weeb alert. No. Machinen Krieger SF3D MAK armor. I base Gamma World's, in my mind's eye, that's what I think of when I think of Gamma World armor. The magic user tries to jumpstart the power armor with a lightning bolt spell and iron wire. Zang! It works for about 1 second. Speaking of things working, because we're starting to wind down. About half of you guys have gone home. That's fine. But there's something I want to bring up, and I'm not calling anyone out. Don't anybody go out and this is not a all I'm thinking of is possible solutions. People in the past have said that interviews and live stream games, that there's audio problems. They have problems with the audio. Not in the sense that the end user is having internet problems and their audio is hiccuping. But they just can't hear. Is there a way you can increase so-and-so's mic volume? And the answer is no, there's not. I have no control beyond going into the person's screen settings on StreamYard, which I'm using right now, and increasing their gain. And most of the time I have it maxed out for them. I don't let it auto adjust. I just push it all the way up. Thank you, James. Thank you very much. But Beyond that, I can't really increase it anymore. And oftentimes that doesn't help other people. I was thinking about this tonight. The only thing that I can realistically do, guys, is to purchase a preamp, which costs money. Well, the problem isn't that my voice drowns them out. It's that their voices are too quiet, that people say. But I could purchase a preamp, which of course will cost money, and then set it up, output the computer's audio into the preamp, and then loop it back into the computer as audio input. And then tell Voicemeeter to take that input and output that input back to, back out through streaming to StreamYard. Basically, I tell StreamYard, hey, this is your audio that's coming from Voicemeeter. That's and I don't even know if that would work. But the thing is, that is the best that I could do. And I could kind of get middling results with that. Maybe. Well, that's what I'm talking about, Elle, is people that say, I can't hear the guests. I go through and I turn the gain all the way up. And people are still like, no, that's not much better. I really can't, I can't hear them. So I do the best I can, guys. I really do the best I can. I would love to be able to send a potential guest, like, here's your small studio worth of audio equipment. So, I don't know, guys. I mean, people that are like, the audio levels ruined the experience for me on this. I'm truly sorry. Like, I don't sit back here going, I don't care about you guys. I have my audio set the way I want it, and I'm not going to fix it. Screw the lot of you. I'm not. I mean, if I had a NBC TV crew that I could send to everyone's house every Tuesday and, pipe perfect audio to me to send over StreamYard to you, I would do it. I would absolutely do it. So, I mean, maybe Jack's onto something. It's like knocking my audio way down, so you guys would have to turn it up to hear me. Because I know, like, if I have a quiet guest on and you're like, I'm going to turn this up, then I'm like, so tell me, your eardrums might get driven a foot into your head. So, I do, guys, I do my best. And a lot of times, I can hear my guests just fine. And sometimes they're blowing me out. You guys will be like, I can barely hear Joe Smith over there. And I'm like, my tinnitus is acting up now because his audio is blowing me out. So I don't know exactly. I do. And again, a lot of times that you got, and it's no one in this stream. Let me make that clear. Nobody in this stream is upsetting me. Nobody who's asked about the audio upsets me. I'm just telling you that's where I'm at. I will look, I will search, I will play with settings. I will do everything I can. I will do everything I can to adjust audio. So I promise I'm not ignoring you, and I promise I don't care. Trust me. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and wrap up for the evening. I'm going to wolf down something before I go play my Monday night first edition AD&D game. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight, for hanging out. I do appreciate it. Thank you. Big extra special thanks to Howard Hughes for joining us. You'll be on the Wall of Honor, by which I mean our end credits crawl, next week, Howard. So not next week. Tomorrow night, keep your eyes peeled for that. The Evil Wizard cast, maybe someday. But anyway, again, thank you all very much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you all for hanging out tonight. And we're going to be back tomorrow. We're going to play some first edition AD&D. Of course, there will be a little bit of preamble ramble, because isn't there always? But guys, seriously, until then, be good to each other, be good to yourselves. Understand that I care about you all. Howard, thank you. We can be friends, even Howard sneaking in a super at the end. We can be friends even though I'm a bandit. Thank you. So with that said, let's just go ahead and wrap up the night. And as always, guys, as always, whoops, where do we go? Keep your eyes peeled, because you never know what's lurking out there. Could be an owl bear. Peace.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere, in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around, some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle, way off course? Naked as a toad, all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me